Well, hello there everyone, my name is Amy, this is the Opinionated Woman, and welcome to my Pride videos. Fuck yeah! I've been waiting all year for this, but finally we are here. It is June, it is Pride Month, and I am here with my reading plans for the month. This is my little Pride TBR, a tiny little bit of a Pride haul, because these books are all brand new, because I have read all the queer books that are on my shelves, and then I'm going to tell you about some of the audiobooks that I want to pick up as well. So obviously I'm very much limited to the stuff that I have managed to accumulate, and the audiobooks that are available on Scribd. That's the way that I find things to read. So even though there are probably like a lot of other queer books and stuff like that that I would love to read, I just don't have access to them. So this is what I'm going to be reading. I'm very excited about it, so let's get into it. Oh, quickly, before I forget, I will be taking part in the Queerlit Readathon. Here is the bingo board. It is taking place from the 5th to the 11th of June. Last year, I think I had a lot of different things that I could hit on this bingo board, but since they change it every year, and I obviously am limited to what books I have available to me, I'm not going to be able to hit too many, but I think I'm going to try go across like that. I don't know if bingo works like that, but for me, it works like that. My hair is doing crazy things today. Okay, the first book is not actually a hauled book. It's a book that I got last year and I read last year, but I did not read it during Pride, and I want to give it a reread because I think there's a lot of really good info in here. And that is Queer, A Graphic History by Meg John Barker and Julia Scheele. They're both non-binary authors, and this is a whole graphic novel history of queerness, and it goes into queer theory and all kinds of and gender and all kinds of anything to do with queerness basically. And I thought it was really well done, and it introduced me to a lot of concepts when I first read it that I didn't know about. And I feel like on the second read, especially since I've been working a lot more to learn about queer history and things like that, I feel like on the second read it's only going to be better. And then we have the books that are brand new that I have not hauled yet. I am super excited about these, so let's dive in. The first, oh my god, I nearly screamed when my aunt said that she was going to put a proof aside for me, and that is You Made a Fool of Death with Her Beauty by Kofi Mezi. Look, it's beautiful. It's so beautiful. So Kofi Mezi is a Nigerian non-binary author. They are absolutely incredible. I read Pet for Pride last year. I also read Freshwater last year. And I'm really excited to get into this. This is their first romance. And while I think the romance in here is between a man and a woman, it's obviously written by a super queer author. And it's their first delve into the romance genre. And I can't wait to see what their writing style is like in this kind of setting. I think I'm going to keep this book specifically for a reading queer romances book. And I can't wait. Now, most of these books here are from online secondhand bookstores in the UK, because my mom is from the UK. And I said to her that I have all of Sarah Waters' books except for 2. And now I have all of Sarah Waters' books. Yes! So yeah, the only ones I didn't have was Affinity and Tipping the Velvet. So these are definitely going to be getting read. This one has got to do with a musical star turned rent boy. Interesting. And this one is to do with a disgraced spiritualist weaves an enigmatic spell. Is she a fraud or a prodigy? And I found out recently that Tipping the Velvet is cunnilingus. And I think that's funny. So yeah, yay, gay, 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 gay. Then we have a book that I've been trying to read for a while, and that is Mr. Loverman by Bernadine Everesto. I first started listening to this on audio, and then realized very quickly that this is the type of book I need to read physically. It just wasn't going in right, even though the accents. So this is following Barry, a oh god, he's an old man, 74 years old, Antiguan guy. So Barry has a wife, children, you know, he's a husband, a father, a grandfather, and he has for 60 years been in a secret relationship with his best friend Morris. And I'm really interested to see, like, from a black queer point of view, especially queers who are older, like not necessarily following like a YA or like in their like early 20s kind of, like this is like 70-something-year-old queers. And I've heard nothing but incredible things about this book, so I am hoping to dive into this one very early in Pride. Then the penultimate book, oh my god, I could not believe that my mom managed to get this secondhand. Whoopsie. And that's Tory Peace's Detransition Baby. I've heard so much good shit about this book, and it came even with it has a bookmark. I love finding people's bookmarks in books. It's a queen. Isn't that cool? Anyway, so yeah, a beautiful freaking hardback cover of Detransition Baby. What I know about this is it's to do with a trans couple where the one woman in the group detransitions and goes from being Amy to being Ames, and he gets his next girlfriend pregnant, and there's some kind of co-parenting trans situation happening. It's very hard to describe. So basically, Ames is getting hold of, what's our main character's name? Reese, and finding out whether they are interested in doing a co-parenting situation. So this is really looking at queer relationships, detransitioning, and untraditional families, which I think is really important. I follow people on TikTok who are in much more unconventional sort of parenting situations, and I find it so intriguing. And I feel like showing different family situations also the more we show different types of family situations, the more it will become the norm. And I'm really interested to see what this one has to say. And the final book was another one from my lovely Aunt Julie, who read the back of it and said, would you be interested in this book? And that's Double Booked by Lily Linden. This is a proof, so this is what the final book will look like. This is, actually, You Made a Fuller Death with Her Beauty is coming out on the 24th of May, so that when I'm filming this is tomorrow. But yeah, this one's coming out on the 24th of May. This one, I think these are South African dates. This one's coming out in June. So this is following our main character who, let me find out what her name is. So this is following our main character, Georgina. She's 26, and she's very much like set in her ways, has a boyfriend, etc. And then she comes to the realization after, whatever. I don't want to dive too much into this because I want it to be as secret as possible. Look how cute the author is! Adorable! Adorable! So at some point she deviates from her, as it calls it, straight life, and starts to discover a little bit more about herself, and sort of comes to the terms with the fact that she might be bisexual. And first of all, that sounds great. It's also a romance as far as I know. But I really struggle to find books and other stories about late in life gays, late in life queers of any form, because if you don't know, I came out as bi when I was 29, and then I realized I was gay and came out at 30 for the second time. And you don't see that in books very often. A lot of the time the coming out stories are to do with younger kids, like teenagers finding out their sexuality, but with some of us that doesn't happen, So I thought this was an absolutely excellent look into that, and I'm really psyched to give it a go. So those are all the physical books, but of course I'm going to be listening to some audiobooks, and I've tried to get a little bit of a range, but the 4 that are on my radar right now is The House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Cloon. This is more of a, is it YA or middle grade vibe? Fantasy kind of, like a fantasy kind of setting. I've heard so many people talk about this and saying it's like an absolutely ray of sunshine kind of book. So I definitely want to try that one. Then the book that I was determined, I was like, I saw the release date. I was like, I will find this book so that I can read it during Pride. And that is I Kissed Shara Wheeler by Casey McQuiston. Fuck yeah, I'm sure you know. Casey McQuiston is the author of Red, White, and I can never say that name. Red, White, and Royal Blue, and One Last Stop, which is absolutely excellent. And she is now, they are now back with their first ever YA novel, and it's sapphic. And I don't know what it's about. I just know someone kissed Sarah Wheeler. And I love Casey McQuiston's writing. So I am not looking at what this book is properly about at all. And I'm going to dive straight in. It's going to be, as soon as I possibly can read that book, it's going to happen. I'm so excited. Casey McQuiston is just so incredible. So, excited. And another one that I'm super excited about, and that has been on my radar for so long, but I just haven't been able to get hold of it, and that's Tell Me How You Really Feel by Amina Safi. I heard so many people talking about this book, and it just sounds freaking lovely. It's yet again another sapphic one. I am biased, I have to admit, obviously. I love reading a good sapphic book. So this is a YA novel about these two girls who, it's sort of like can you speak, Amy? Enemies to lovers, where there's some kind of tension between the two of them from a past misunderstanding. And now the one main character is realizing that the show that she's putting on, the perfect casting for the lead of the show she's putting on, is this girl. And the romance ensues from there. I can't, it's like forced proximity, enemies to lovers. It sounds great. It just sounds really super cute. And I am really excited to finally get to read it. It popped up on Scribd the other day and I was like, fuck yeah. And then the last one, which I actually nearly read last Pride, and this time I decided I was going to read it for the Queerlit Readathon, and that is Fierce Femmes and Notorious Liars by Cheng. Kai's a Canadian writer, and this is what is labeled as a confabulated memoir. So it's not 100% real, but the different characters in some situations are taken from her life and confabulated. The author is also trans, by the way. So I'm really interested to see this. I've never read a story like this. I've never read a sort of fictionalized memoir in a way, especially not a queer one. So I'm really interested to see where this goes and what she explores. And yes, it's just one that I'm really happy to dig into. So that is it. That is all of my Pride books that I will be reading for June. I'm really excited. I look forward to this every single year. And the pile of brand new Pride books, I'm just like, let me at them. I want to dig my fingers in. So if you are keen to see me read these books and see what I think, I will be vlogging throughout the whole month as usual, but this specifically focused on Pride related vlogs. So if you did like that and want to follow along, please hit the subscribe button. I'd love to have you. Like, comment, etc. Tickle my bell for notifications, and I'll check you next time.